FA.
Good evening, Africa. Once again, we're here on This Is African Football. We love to talk about the African game every Thursday. We hope you're also following us wherever you are when we are able to just go back and look at what has been during the week as far as the beautiful game is concerned on the continent of Africa. You have to follow us as well. We want to hear from you. It is hashtag Frun Sports. We are here tonight. The topics are ready. Mouth-watering topics to talk about. It is FIFA, of course. Big plans for Africa. I think we've heard it before. Micho heading to Zimbabwe. Maybe not. Pirates have a new coach. Yes, he's a German coach. Chiefs has a German coach. Maybe Pirates are saying that we can't be outdone as far as the German nationality regarding their coaching department is concerned. Yes, they've appointed German coach. We'll talk a lot more about that. CAF and FIFA to intervene in Kenya football matters. Yes, we know that we love to talk about Kenya, but not just because we love, but there are always controversies when it comes to Kenya football. But yes, these are the topics for tonight. I will never be able to go through them alone. They are the gentlemen, the tried, the tested, the knowledgeable. They are here, the experts when it comes to African football. Let me take this opportunity to introduce especially our new guest tonight. We are very privileged and honored to welcome one of the better brains when it comes to African football is concerned. Jeff Katala is here with us. Jeff, great to be here. We are very excited that you've joined the crew and welcome to the show.
Yeah, it is very, very, very nice, and I'm very privileged to be with you guys today because it's been long overdue.
Yes.
I've been talking to CPU, but it's been in and out. Me too, I was in and out.
Yes.
But today I said no. I have to come.
You have to come.
I have to come. I have to plant the seeds.
Yes.
And then we'll see what will happen going forward.
We know what is going to happen.
You know, the good thing we were shouting about the midfield was not complete.
Oh,
yeah. So we needed a playmaker that can, push the ball forward for, Mbele to always finish.
I'm sure our listeners, wherever you are, this is the place to be on This Is African Football. They are here. Greg Tiaf is here as well. Timothy Batabaire, award-winning journalist. William Nyandu. It completes the lineup. I can tell you, you won't want to be in any way better than to be on This Is African Football. Gentlemen, you've heard what is on the menu tonight. Let's start now, Velile, with these plans that FIFA speaks about, plans for Africa. I thought they're always having plans for Africa. What's so special about these plans this time around?
I think it's very interesting that FIFA is talking about plans they have for Africa. And right then, one of the first things they implement is to expand the Club World Cup. And the expansion of this Club World Cup impacts now also on the shifting of the AFCON. To our winter or summer, to June.
Yeah.
Because
to February, January.
I mean, because now, yes, we're talking about we have to move the next 3 AFCONs due to weather issues, but we know it's not the weather.
It's the FIFA Club World Cup.
It's the FIFA Club World Cup.
Yeah,
but look, I don't think we should look at everything, because I know that people have been saying, but FIFA this. I don't think we should look at all the ideas they have and we question them.
Okay.
Because even in the absence of that, what do we have? What do we have? We have a situation currently where clubs in Southern Africa, majority of the fans are not even to access watching their clubs due to this situation between Lagadier and CAF.
Yeah, the TV rights.
Exactly.
That are not accessible
yes, exactly.
to
And
other
also,
parts of the continent.
yes, and also from a reporter's point of view, when I cover the Champions League and I compare to how I cover the Absa Premiership or any other competition here locally, the CAF tournaments, for me, they are not the standard. It's just not good enough. You know, there are basics. If I go and cover Highlands Park, Owen Dagama knows that he has to talk to me and he has to give me a player. But I can go to a CAF Champions League game even before the game and come back without having spoken to anyone. And no one is going to be punished. But if Highlands Park does that, they know that there's a manual that's being followed. If they don't do that, they're going to be fined. You know? So now, what I'm trying to say is that there are just a lot of things at CAF that are not being done in the same way that you expect it to be done at UEFA level. You know what I mean? If I look at how glamorous is the UEFA Champions League and the Europa, but with our competitions, it's not the same.
Yeah, but probably what I want.
Yes. I want you to come in there, Jeff.
Yes.
Maybe you might comment there, because what he's saying, kind of comparing what is happening in Europe, the Champions League, the Europa League, and in us here. But wouldn't be now that particular reason why FIFA feels that there's room for improvement, maybe why they're coming in now to try to uplift our standards? Your comment on that?
Why we have to beg FIFA to come every time and run our business in football? We don't have to, because they don't do that with UEFA. Gianni Infantino is afraid of Alexander, the president of UEFA. He's not going into UEFA offices the way he goes to Cairo, and the way he dictates the way football should be managed and played on the continent.
Is it too much?
It is too much. He's talking about the plans. He's talking about the plans. Wait. He's talking about the plans. Is it the first time that he said that he will be he's coming to Africa with plans?
Yes.
In 2016, before he was elected, he said that he's got plans for Africa. Where are those plans?
No, Jeff.
Why we have to jump in and go
listen.
again and
Let's stop. I think we are jumping the gun. I don't think the problem is Infantino or FIFA. The problem is the inept leadership of African leaders. We don't have leadership at this moment in time, because you have the likes of Ahmed, who are now the escorts of Infantino and Fatima's escorting these so-called leaders to African countries, claiming they want to develop our football. They want to help and advertise our talent that we already possess. Until we recognize what we have as a continent, just like the Europeans recognize that we have got a block vote that they want to capture, we are going to be talking for a long time. We need to identify board leaders who are going to forecast the importance of growing African football. But the likes of Infantino will not come on board.
All right. So for Tim, it's so much about the ineptitude of the leadership. I think you've always raised that you just feel that we are short when it comes to it. But for you, Greg Itafia,
for me, I think it's a good thing. You know, sometimes you need to start somewhere. But my only problem in Africa is for we to sustain what they're going to do, because they're talking about the refs. You know, they're talking about how to build the stadium and a lot of
they
things.
want to improve almost all the aspects of football in the continent. And it includes refereeing, it includes infrastructure, the stadium, the competitions as well, to make sure that they bring the money that we are seeing.
But about 1 billion.
No, but
so is there anything wrong with
There's
that?
nothing wrung with that.
No. I mean, there's something wrong.
No,
there's
something wrong.
Etafia.
They're coming to help.
No, they are not helping us. No.
We don't have.
No, they are not.
Let me give you a scenario.
They are not helping us. I refuse to agree.
Wait. Let me give you a scenario.
No.
Zimbabwe right now, national team now, they are debating to play their next game in Cape Town. Because of the Harris Stadium. Because you have stadium, you have teams that are using the national stadium. Now national team come to play now, they can't play there. You're talking about that.
Okay.
Now you see that is one point.
That's the problem.
And they said that they want to help
the whole
Africa to get national stadium.
You should be careful.
My only problem is to sustain it.
No, it's true. You should be careful. No, Etafia, you should be careful when you start passing around the bucket. Asking for assistance, because it's going to come with strings attached. And that's the problem we are having. Already as we speak, we have got a FIFA grant that is accorded to all member countries of FIFA. Where does that money go? Many of these federations cannot account for that money. No matter how much money FIFA is going to continue
they are saying
into
now
the African
they want
continent.
to help
No, but
with the money they're gonna raise.
Let's touch the aspect of help. Let's touch the aspect of help, gentlemen.
It's not help.
It is
So what do we do?
Let's touch the aspect of help, Felile.
Yeah.
Because now, for us to be in a position of every time receiving help, surely there's something wrong with the system. If every time FIFA has to come, I mean, if you talk about Zimbabwe, if you talk about stadiums, where we've had only one stadium, the National Sports Stadium, as long as I was going to school myself, nothing had been built and so forth. So do we have to wait every time for FIFA to come in and say,
but FIFA doesn't build stadium.
Exactly. No, but now they are promising.
But
now.
No, they said
Infantino has said
you need to allow them. You need to allow them. So you don't allow them.
Okay. Let me have Jeff.
I
in
want
terms
to
of this
speak
stadium.
Jeff. Okay.
And all this help, Jeff, that at times we look as if when now FIFA comes and say want to do this for you, but if we look back, some of the things Africa, we might have already have put it in place ourselves.
Maintenance?
Rather than to wait for FIFA to every time come and give us help.
Yeah, but FIFA doesn't help as much as the thing they're doing. Only probably for now. Now they have
because now they are talking.
Before it was only $250,000 US dollars. But yes, they will give it to national FA.
Was it enough?
It wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough. Yes.
And it wasn't a one go. They were paying in installments.
Yes.
But now they have increased it to about 1.5 million.
Yes.
And the other 3.5 million you have to come with
your
feasibility studies.
Yes, there are certain conditions
and then they can give it to you. But this is not the way our football should be run. We do have a capable mind. Only if they are put in the right place within CAF and within our national FAs, they will do the job and they will deliver. That's why we won't have a problem with like Lagadia depriving billions of Africa not to watch our own Champions League. Well, that's where we have to generate money. But I don't think that we can leave everything to be run by FIFA. I was very vocal when they say that Fatma Samura is coming to
be a FIFA delegate.
It is nowhere in any manual or statute of FIFA. We don't have leadership. We have people who don't.
So people that are there
don't know what to do. I remember in March when Daye Mulamba died. He died in South Africa.
I remember that
story.
I
took it upon yourself.
Yes, to Congo. There were no one from CAF at his funeral, and I wrote a letter to Tony Bafo. Telling him how African heroes are forgotten. And I will send you that letter. And he said to me, but you know, Jeff, I don't know how to handle this. And this is why we were actually fighting. That's why you saw that the last game of the group stage, they paid tribute to Ndai.
Yes. We saw that in the 2019 AFCON.
Yes. It was because I was there, telling them what they should do. And I talked about a lot of players. Godfrey Chitalu. I talked about Suleiman Bangala, Sila, all those guys, Puku, all those guys in Africa. I talked. He said, but we do have people who don't know what to do.
All right, gentlemen.
Don't be surprised when Jeff talks about lack of leadership.
Because
they went to FIFA to say, look, we are struggling. You know, but my point was, if you are struggling and you are saying FIFA must come and help, then why don't you resign?
No, okay.
But it's not possible. No, it's not possible.
No. But Tiaf,
but
if you are seeking help,
I want to go back to the point you were mentioning about Infantino, and this is where I have a problem with him. I don't know whether he thinks maybe Africa is just one small village. He talks about Super League.
Yeah.
And when I try to follow the story of the Super League, then I'm trying to think. Then what's happening to the African Champions League?
Yeah.
You understand? If you are going to have a Super League, because he had this idea in Europe, and UEFA threw it out. Now he thinks he must bring this.
You see,
to here in Africa.
you see,
But
you
are the one that said
the best way to seek help is to identify what they should help you
do, yes.
with.
What we need
Now,
but
what is
one
happening now
is the stadium.
What is happening?
Like example, listen.
Let me tell you.
No, but it's typical.
First wait.
Imagine, I'm giving an example with Zimbabwe.
Let me first finish.
All right.
Let me first finish.
Yes, Tim. Just wrap it
There
up.
is no individual or entrepreneur who is going to invest in a stadium. Those are prerequisites for the government.
Yes.
The government is responsible for the infrastructure of the country. The sports is one of them. Now, we have the World Organization, that is FIFA, that, if I'm quoting Infantino well, he will not provide the money. He will identify
people to
the
help.
entrepreneurs and companies who have got an interest. Now, that interest, put it in commas, because you're going to have people to put their money in a business. For example, TV rights. They will want to have all the rights to your national team. So that's how they're going to recoup their money. And now it means we are selling our soul once again. We need to put a stop to that.
All right.
For me, with Nigerian National Stadium,
Quickly.
typical example, you have
I
been in
need to move,
Nigeria.
gentlemen.
The stadium it's not playable. You know that's why Nigeria moved their game all over. That's Abuja supposed to be.
But
Abuja is supposed to be the national stadium.
for you it's important.
It's important.
That
No,
problem-
the problem. You say the maintenance.
The problem is leadership.
I'll go with him.
Yes, you are
because
correct,
when we allow private entities to come and build sport facilities in our countries, they're going to have it. They say that we want to get the money out from that stadium for about 24 or 5 years, as they do it with our national network in terms of roads and railways. What are we going to do about it? No. This is a prerogative of the government to build a sport infrastructure and leave the other. For Infantino, in terms of project, like Gold Project, like the way another project from CAF as well,
Forward,
I would like that. But in terms of when they said that they can train the referees, to go
That's
to
good.
that's a good one. But to come to build a stadium and to have a Super League. No. Super League, there will be only Sundowns, TP Mazembe, Al Ahly, Zamalek. That will benefit.
What about the rest of the league?
What about the small teams?
Yeah.
What about
trying to
Mama
build
All right, gentlemen.
in-
Okay, thank you. Thank you,
There's a
gentlemen.
youth. They talk about the
This
youth.
is African football.
They have
Thank
extended everything of help.
you, Timothy
No.
Batabaire, Greg Tiaf. Thank you
they-
very much. It's fine, Mr. Infantino. You all know him. He loves Africa. This is African
No, he
football.
doesn't.
So he loves Africa. He's starting so
That's
Love
what-
with benefits.
It is hashtag France Sport. I wanted to say that whenever he's coming to Africa, at times there is ulterior motives, and the guys have just just dissected and given the reasons. Very suspicious, very skeptical in the way that FIFA always want to poke their noses where it doesn't belong. I think Africa, we need to be independent at some stage and not always look to FIFA to help. There's already funds that come from FIFA. But anyway, we will say watch this space. We want to hear from you, your thoughts actually on what FIFA is saying and this cozy relationship that the FIFA president has with our president, of course, Ahmad. Gentlemen, let's move on. There's more to talk. Definitely so many stories that we need to look at. Now let's focus our attention to the East. Things are happening there in Kenya. Again, FIFA and CAF to intervene. Team, what is happening there? I think it's Greg Itafia's friend, Nick Mwenda. He's always said that Nick Mwenda, he feels that he has done well. The national team qualified after so many years.
Me, I say with the national team.
So the
But
national
it's not
team
the
has
first
done
time
well.
that Kenya has qualified.
But now, team,
After a long time.
looking at this situation now, where again, I'm sure it will lead us to the government interference versus what FIFA says in terms of that. Looking at the FA in Kenya, which is violating one or two laws there, and the sports tribunal coming strong and say those elections, they don't think that they should proceed. But FIFA, at times when government interference is at that level, they normally pounce and suspend the federation.
Yes, we have had this discussion before about Kenya, and we did actually talk about the issue that were being raised by some of the aspirants. Some Nyamwenya is a former candidate, you know. So what was happening is there was the board that was appointed by the likes of Nick Mwendwa to constitute the constituency that was going to make the vote, and also the electoral committee that was going to preside over the elections was not constituted. So those issues were raised, and they were raised to the sports tribunal, and the federation believed that they were on track. But again, I think the sports tribunal did come up strongly and, you know, put a stop to it, because under the country law, the sports association must be registered with the sport under the Sports Act, and it found that the football federation itself was not registered, and that was very wanting. So all conditions were like, yes, it was stopped. Interestingly, the federation has accepted the ruling, and it has even forwarded the amendments that they're going to consider them. Now, what constitutes the body has to be voted on by the representatives.
Yes.
Now, what constitutes the representative is also a subject of contention, because Nick Mwendwa wants a few bodies other than starting from the lower levels. And his administration ends leadership, I think it was the 10th of February. So there's no time like to have that whole period to be covered. He wants to be done very quickly and the election to be done. So they have got some, you know, conditions that have been put there, and it's a matter of time to see what's going to happen. Yes, we know that CAF and FIFA sent representative to Nairobi to try and meet the sports minister. What will come out of that, I think, will give direction what will be made, what will constitute a decision by FIFA.
Verily, it's election time. It's not a surprise when there are this kind of things happening, especially before elections. You always find government, you always find a little bit of violations of the laws, the electoral laws being violated and so forth. FIFA coming in, we saw Sierra Leone as well at one stage being suspended, although it was a different issue. It wasn't so much about the elections. But this time around in Kenya, there is something that we've so much been accustomed to, that there's always these problems that arise when there's time for elections.
Yes, in fact, just before that, I want to update you. I remember the other day we were discussing the issue of Malinzi.
Yes.
And him being in prison.
Yes, Tanzania.
Yes.
Tanzania.
Yes.
Out.
I think he's been given an option. There's a fine that they have to pay.
Yeah.
Or if they don't pay that fine, it's 2 years in jail.
Oh, okay.
But I think he's been in jail for 2 years
already.
So. Yes. So this is the same East Africa we're talking about. I just want to contextualize.
Yes.
So,
correct.
Going to this point, Magogo admitted that he sold World Cup tickets and
Uganda
and
entered the pre-bargain
and FIFA ethics
for 2
only
months.
banned him for 2 months.
2 months.
Violated.
Other people are banned for 10 years.
Violated their own statutes.
Like Jerome Varka in Europe.
Yes.
He's been banned for more than 3 years.
Yes, but Magogo got banned for 2 months. This week,
on the 10th of December, I was back in the office.
He's back
in office.
Elasto,
yes.
Did you finish?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, but now I want to come to this point of Nick. Who is behind Nick? Why is CAF and FIFA, when Nick is having difficulties back in his home country to stand for the election, now they want to come in? You understand what I mean? You can tell here that people are looking after their interests. You know, they're looking after their interests. The other week you were asking me, why is Infantino going around? I said, no, check those countries where he's going around. Those countries are going to elections. You know, they're going to elections. Because now, yes, it's a football election. But this thing that you talk about in terms of registration and all those things, if SAFA has got an issue with SASCOC, they need to register.
Simple as that.
They're a sports body. So in South Africa.
Yeah, so
you understand. So now, why is CAF? Yes, I understand this is their member for FIFA. Yes. But if a sports authority in Kenya wants to make sure that this particular sports body follows the line, why?
Yeah, but
could it be because they need this vote.
Okay, so in other words,
of Kenya in their favor come 2021.
I think that's what you're implying, that
Yes.
a Nick Mwenda that a Nick Mwenda is somebody that may be also very close to FIFA. And if you look at FIFA, their history in terms of such matters, look, they do come strong on the governments. And it's not always the time, Jeff, where governments are wrong. Because associations as well, if you look at it, there are times where I just feel that they're untouchable when it comes to how they go about doing their business, because that protection that comes from FIFA always makes it difficult for government to hold them accountable.
Yes, but when it comes to the case of Kenya, we have to understand that, first of all, they had to, all the FAs are NPO, non-profit organization, because they don't pay tax. They don't pay tax to the state. So because they live out, they live out of the grants that are given to them by different associations like CAF and FIFA and partners and sponsors. But this particular case in Kenya, I've always been saying that the statutes of FIFA are tailor-made on European model. Yeah, because the European model, government don't really found the national teams. But in Africa, we have another context where most, except for South Africa, Bafana, and the Maghreb region, but all the rest.
No, even South Africa.
No. Government doesn't throw a cent to South Africa.
No, not to South
Well, in
Africa.
terms of funding, but I'm saying about even a say.
No,
they don't even have a say.
Yes, they say that. But when government, as long as government, we have to change some of the rules in the statutes of FIFA that in Africa, governments are funding are the sole sponsors of the national teams. So they have also a say.
Therefore, they must have a say.
Yeah, they should have a say in the FA. How is it run? I don't see why FIFA rules or FIFA statutes can prevail over national legislation. I'm totally against that.
Okay, Greg Tiaf, you love this man.
Yeah,
Nick
so
Mwenda.
much. So much.
You love this man, Nick Mwenda.
Yeah.
And Nick
In good or
Mwenda,
bad?
he has relied on the government.
Yeah.
If you understand what Jeff is saying,
Yeah.
remember when they want tickets, where they call. When they want to go to Ethiopia, where do they go to?
Yeah, the government.
When they want to go to Nations Cup, who gives them the money?
Yeah.
But this time around, it seems as if Nick now said that no, I can do as I want.
Yeah.
But looking at him, his achievements, I think you've always maintained that still, besides all this that is happening, this is the man that Kenya should trust in terms of their football business.
It's the team there is looking at me. But for me, I always say that, Kenya, they have a lot of things to sort out. That's why, FIFA and CAF are going there,
No, what are they going to do then?
No, I mean, to sort the election out, because election is supposed to
So
start
how can they
on the
sort?
7th.
But the court have ruled.
Yeah.
The court ruled.
Yes.
But you said
So FIFA is saying they don't want you to go to the courts.
Yeah. But the biggest
Deal with it.
my own
They don't have to go to
they said don't
ordinary
go.
court.
Yes, don't go to.
But my own, I just always say the good things about Nick in terms of the AFCON. That's where I stand. Remember,
and that's
for
it.
long.
And I've told you.
No.
Let me correct you again.
The last achievement Kenya. Wait.
No. Wait about your achievement.
Wait. The last achievement that Kenya have, where was that? Qualifying to the AFCON.
Yes.
And the last game they played.
2014 AFCON.
No.
Where everyone was there.
No, they were to 2004 AFCON, the last one in Tunisia. But Kenya has won many CECAFA without Nick.
We're talking about the AFCON is better than. I mean, it's stronger than.
Okay, so you are saying that. Let him finish. You are saying that with the current form.
Yeah.
I think it's the Harambee Stars that look formidable, that have improved a lot. I think that's
my stance.
Okay.
So
with that,
Elasto.
there's something that we
Elasto.
should give credit to in terms of the
Elasto.
yes team.
Now, my study on African leadership,
No,
on
Nick,
football.
No, Kenya. Leave the Africa, the whole Africa. They have problems.
Kenya is a part of Africa.
No, what I'm trying to say, the whole everywhere,
is part of
they have
Africa.
problem. Kenya started Nick.
I'm gonna tackle Kenya. I want to give you a better perspective.
Okay.
Yes.
Most of these leaders that come into leadership of the FAs,
Yeah.
they understand that if they get the national team brand running artificially,
Yeah.
limited success is going to sustain them in leadership. So they get the sponsors and everything like that to try and get these players to make sure that they perform. If they are lucky, like Nick Mwenda was lucky, to have the likes of Wanyama and these professional players to turn up and qualify for the team. Mind you, this is
There's some countries that have superstars that didn't qualify up to that stage.
This is an AFCON that is expanded. So we had the all.
So it doesn't mean anything. That's what is in front of them. They play.
So
if it's 24, if it's 35, if it's 60, as far as they qualify.
No, which means that if it wasn't expanded to 24, Harambee Stars wouldn't have qualified.
Exactly.
They're in that group, they qualify.
Yeah,
What is in front of you?
Okay, no, but
so
don't
for
worry.
me,
this is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Nick is the man.
Nick is the man for Great
Ethiopia.
Yes, team. Just finish it off.
Just to finish up, we are looking
Yes.
at the holistic of
Yeah,
football
yeah.
in Kenya under the leadership of Nick Mwendwa.
Yeah.
We are saying, as a federation,
Yeah.
at this moment in time, with the Harambee Stars qualifying, as you are alluding to the fact that
and don't forget that
you should be able to have all the sponsors running to you for the sponsorship of money. No, you running to the government. And when you run to the government, it releases money. You don't go to the finals, but they gave you money until the finals. But you can't even account for the money, the balance of the money.
That's
for
what
you
that's
getting out
one.
of the
That's
group
what
stages.
we already said.
Okay,
That's
I
a
think
different.
Nick
All right.
Mwendwa
Performance
should
on
quit
the
the
pitch.
leadership of
Gentlemen,
Kenyan
let's
football.
move on.
Performance on the pitch.
All right.
Kenya, I give
Greg
it to Nick
Tiaf
for
says
leading them.
performance on the pitch. Timothy Patabere, as usual, says that yes, he needs proper good leaders that can be able to take Kenya football, to greater heights. Yes, they've qualified. Some are saying that look, it's a 24 Nations Cup team. Maybe if it was the usual 16, Kenya might not even there. But nevertheless, they qualified. All right, gentlemen, it is hashtag Frun Football. You at home. I hope you are enjoying every moment of this program. This is African Football. As we move on, of course, a little bit closer now to where we are focusing on the Buccaneers appointing the new coach, new man in charge. Maybe the writing was on the wall, I don't know. I mean, if a club says that you are a caretaker coach, you are the interim coach, it means that somewhere along the lines, definitely there will be that actually men that will come and take over. So let's hear from you, Mr. Velile, looking at this new appointment. Maybe before we even get to the new man in charge, of course, Joseph Zimbabwe from Germany. Now, the coach who was there on a caretaker basis, did he do a good job? I think if you look at Pirates appointing this coach now, you might say, okay, maybe not, but maybe the plan was always there to make sure that they have a head coach. But your take on the tenure of Rulani, I think you would have loved to stay on board, continue as a head coach and learn. Were Pirates too early to bring a new coach? These are all the questions that the fans of the Buccaneers maybe are grappling with. But you are here to try to maybe help us understand exactly what was happening at Orlando Pirates.
Look, firstly, there was a statement that was doing the rounds, and there was a quote that was attributed to the Iron Duke, the chairman of Orlando Pirates, Dr. Ivan Koza, and that proved to be very interesting. And I tried to do my research in terms of where is this quote coming from, because some people from the club don't remember the chairman saying that.
Okay.
That Rulani is going to
finish the season.
To finish the season. Yeah. And this is...
I thought I saw it somewhere as well.
Yeah. And this is why I say, especially in this world of social media and everything, people have got to be very careful of how they interpret the information, especially that they find on social media. And I asked one of the colleagues who was working for that particular publication to say, hey, I see this quote is attributed to you. I say, hey, don't even mention that the issue of that quote is very controversial.
Yes.
Because in terms of its origin, So what I'm trying to say is, it appears as if even the quote to say the chairman had said Rulani is going to be there until end of the season, it was a concocted quote.
So it wasn't true.
No, it wasn't true.
Okay.
And then
there you
confirmed.
Yes, and then coming to Rulani, if you look at the tenure, I think he took over in August, and at that time
After 3 games, I think.
After 3.
Yeah. They were going to play the MTN 8.
MTN.
They were knocked out
in the Champions League.
Yes, they were knocked out of the
Yes.
MTN 8.
Mm-hmm.
Knocked out of the Champions League
Mm-hmm.
in a space of 2 weeks.
Okay.
You know, but look, he's just taken over.
Yes.
Yes, but from the time he took over, I think he only won 3 or 4 matches.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at his record, and you see the brand of football. Okay, yes,
Yeah.
but
What?
the way they were conceding,
Mm-hmm.
to me, I think there were a lot of issues.
Well, you can't fix
but
both
then
sides.
when you try,
But Tiaf,
No, you can't fix both sides.
in
no,
this
no,
country,
no.
in the football,
I'm-
He said the
no,
brand
no,
of football.
No.
In the-
I'm
Okay,
still
yeah.
here. I'm still here.
Yeah.
Now let's leave football.
Yes.
Let's leave the results and everything.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's more than that.
Yeah.
Especially a big team like this.
Mm.
There appears to be a lot of issues
Okay.
that were happening even away from the field of play. As to how he's handling the dressing room,
Mm-hmm.
as to how he's also dealing maybe with those, be
Senior
it in
players.
management or be especially with also the senior players as well. And you are in football.
Yeah.
You know most of these things that I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
Mm.
And you would find that also there was no consistency even in his starting 11.
Lineup.
Mm.
And sometimes you find that this
Are
is
you afraid to say he wasn't a coach?
No, he's a coach.
No,
no,
he's
no.
not.
No, he's a coach.
He's not.
No.
For me,
No, he's not.
For me,
No, he was
he's a
coaching.
coach.
He was
No,
coaching.
no.
He's-
No.
He
He was
has-
coaching.
he
He was
was
coaching.
coaching.
No, he's
No.
learning.
He's a
Oh,
wonderful.
no, of course he's learning.
He's
He's
learning.
a
Of course
wonderful.
he's
Every
learning.
coach learn.
Hey,
Every coach learns.
But here I'm still giving you
he's a
context.
wonderful
Wait,
football
let
analyst.
me
Yes.
finish.
Here
Yeah.
I'm still giving you context.
Yeah, let me
As
finish.
to say, him not coaching the team today is not only because of the results.
Yeah.
It's a combination of
That's
things
Okay.
that have been happening at the club
All right. But now, gentlemen.
that are also
Yeah.
impacting on the results.
But
as well.
gentlemen,
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
at okay, great. Tiaf.
No, you see the other.
Looking at what Virle is saying.
Yeah.
Again, what would be that because when a coach is either fired, demoted, like now in the instance of Rolani,
Yeah.
is it looking at all those issues that are at play in this instance, that it can be your relationship with the senior players, it might be the results, but is it not that one thing that holds your job, which is the results?
Result is the one that judge you to keep your job
Yes.
or to be sacked.
Did he do well on that front?
Okay, let me just give you my points.
Yeah.
As Mele say,
Yes.
the brand of football Pirate plays.
Okay.
You remember me of Papi in terms of attacking wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it cannot fit both sides
Okay.
because defensive wise they're poor.
Okay.
You understand? But as a coach, we played a lot of friendly games against Pirate.
Yes.
Pirate and Highlands. And I see him. He's one coach that given a chance in terms of not one game, not 2 games, not 3 games, not 4 games. In
Time.
terms of saying, okay, no.
So he needs to be given time.
Given time.
What
I
is-
think he's gonna
what
be.
is the
wait,
definition of time?
Wait, I'm
Time
coming to it.
is when they trust you. When they trust you, they say
He has
no
been
matter
with
what.
Pirates for how long?
Timothy, you asked me a question. When they say that okay, we're giving you time as Timothy as a coach. No matter what happened, your result fine. Which everybody's gonna judge you to. The supporters are gonna judge because a big team. It's not like ordinary team like Baroka. I'm not looking down on Baroka, but like Polokwane City,
Oh, yeah.
it's a different side. Pirates and Sundowns result matters because there's a lot of followers.
All right.
So if you give me time in terms of what he's doing, I think the project is having in his hand, he can succeed.
All right.
Elasto.
I'll come to you, Tim. I'll come to you.
But
I'll come to you, Tim.
For me,
Yeah.
I think he's a good coach.
All right.
No.
So okay, I think Jeff seems to disagree.
Yes.
In terms
Yeah,
of
let's go to Jeff.
Yeah, I want to hear
And
from you.
listen.
Why do you say that this coach who was at Sundowns, helping Sundowns win the CAF Champions League,
And the league.
the coach who was he was an assistant actually at Sundowns, he comes to Pirates, he's an assistant coach. Pirates finishes second on the log. This time around now, yeah, he didn't finish the full season.
Yeah.
But maybe what you've seen, why do you say that definitely this coach is not good enough
Yes.
for a club like
First of all, when he was at Sundowns, the one who was taking the final decision was Micho.
Yeah.
He can come up with a plan that we can have to play.
But what
this,
about
play
his
that.
role?
Yeah, his role was to helping to have a say.
Because what I'm
A
trying-
strong
what I'm
coach,
trying to
No,
say-
a strong
no,
coach,
it was-
go with the assistant.
Yeah, no, what I'm
What-
trying to
that-
say that because you are saying the coach is not good enough.
Yes, it's not.
Yeah, okay. Maybe
Yes.
qualify that for me.
Yes, it's not good enough. It's not good enough because when you come at a team, because when Micho was there, I could see. I'm a number one Pirate supporter.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There you are.
Well,
Declaration.
yeah.
Jeff is the number one supporter.
Yes,
So you might be speaking from that point of a
always
fan.
been saying that I'm a supporter.
But
of
support your
Pirates.
coach. What's in
No,
there?
Now
I cannot
tell us
support-
your objective view now.
Yes, because when he took the team,
Yes.
for after 3 games,
Yes,
he
after
could
3
have
games.
identified what was wrong. As he put it so rightly, that the defense was very frail.
Okay.
It wasn't very good. So he could have come up with a plan to say that in the December window and Jan, we have to sign 2 or 3 players.
We didn't
Maybe
give
the
that
chance
chance.
were
They
there.
didn't give him that chance to
could
go
have-
there.
No. He had a lot of chance.
Okay.
He has a lot of time to do that.
No, the transfer.
and even the transfer is coming.
No,
Yeah, but
no,
it's
no,
not
but
him,
here,
but
but
James,
James,
it's out now.
the question is simple. How many goals has Pirates conceded now since he took over?
How many
Before?
goals they score?
So the
Pirates is the most attacking team.
No,
Alright,
no, no, no,
wait,
no, no, no,
wait,
no.
Let's
wait,
allow
wait,
Jeff to
wait,
finish.
wait,
Let's
let
allow
me
Jeff-
finish,
but
let
let's
me
allow
finish.
Jeff to finish.
And
Let's allow
you
Jeff
see
to finish.
the kind of playing that they start playing when Micho left. Micho left in July, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And you could see that when Rowan took over, he didn't really proceed in respecting the kind of play they were doing.
There was no
We could
continuity.
see- There were no continuity.
He
We
changed.
could see, yes,
He
there were
changed,
no
okay.
cohesion.
All right.
There were no cohesion. You could see most of the time. I remember when Luc Mayel was coaching Free State Stars.
Yeah.
When I asked him, but why suddenly Kaiser Chiefs want you? He said, because I was very smart. Because when I came to the team, I found that the team was not good enough. And I need 1, 2, 3. I only got 2 players. They put there and I could do my work. And today, but I won't go to Kaiser Chiefs because they want to respect me.
Okay. All right. Let me come to Tim now. You've heard the guys, Tim, talking about Rolani. Your take on that? Again, looking at
Tell from his comments.
looking
Yes,
Tim,
yes.
look-
I'm a Buccaneer.
But
I'm a
you
Buccaneer.
need to support your coach.
Let-
No, that is there.
No,
That is doing a job.
no,
Don't be
no.
blindfolded.
Let me hear Tim what he has to say on this coach who many, as he was on the sidelines, as he was assisting Micho, assisting Pete Msimane, he came out as a knowledgeable coach.
Yeah.
He came out as this likable, this coach who's got a great future in football. So would you say that maybe too early to have gotten this job to coach Pirates as a senior coach? Maybe it was premature looking at him because you know what, there was so much promised him that I'm finding it difficult now to just disregard and overlook what we knew Rulani before he became a head coach.
Elasto, many people confuse knowledge with intelligence. I've seen people.
Please,
I've seen people.
give us the distinction there.
I've known people who have got degrees, but they have got idiotic ideas and not intelligent.
Intelligence, yeah.
Now, to take you back, we had when Rani moved away from Sundowns and went and joined Pirates.
Yeah.
There was one comment that stood out, and actually, social media by one of the former players influenced that comment, that he was the one helping Pitso win trophies. Now, that is the power of the microphone. Be mindful what you portray.
But it's the
Now-
player that said, he didn't say that.
No.
It's the players that said,
No,
the
no.
player that said that.
Listen.
Zungu is the one that said that.
That-
You must mention the
that-
player
that's
name.
the
It's
problem.
one player.
That's the
It's
problem.
one player that
Player
said
was
that.
close to him.
Okay.
He didn't say anything. He
It's
denied.
fine,
He
it's
says
fine.
he said
Okay.
anything. But the player
But
said that.
he had an opportunity to rectify that.
He ratified it.
He forgot
He
to
did.
rectify it until it was too much. But that's not very important.
Yeah.
What is important
I
is
think, let me correct you. I think he did rectify
Yeah, he
with
did.
Coach Pizzo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So
because
that- yeah.
of the reputation damage that would have resulted after
Yes.
that. It was a media play, not a honest analysis. We should be clear about that.
Yeah.
Now,
You are the analyst now. Analyze for us.
Now, going back to Pirates,
Yeah.
he is a good upcoming coach.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And That can be.
So no one can dispute that.
No, listen.
Okay.
Listen. Very good analyst. Hear him speak. He's going to analyze the opponents, how they play and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's different.
Part of your coaching
It's different.
badges when you go to coaching
different
course.
from making it practical. There are two different things. And what Jeff told you, that if you are an assistant coach, the moment you take over and you hear comments like, the new broom sweeps better than the old one. That was Madida taking over when one of the coaches went on leave. That's a recipe for disaster.
No,
Now,
Mr.
Pirates, the team Orlando Pirates,
Yeah.
supersedes an individual.
Yeah.
A player, a coach, anything like that.
Yeah.
A draw is equivalent to a loss. If you
Depends on which team you play.
hear me out,
You play Saunders, you get a draw, you take
I'm
it.
telling you.
All right,
Pirates
Depends on team you play.
Listen, even then, Pirates, Sundowns, Chiefs, a draw is equivalent to a loss.
You know, you're making a very good point.
There is no room. There is no room.
Wait.
There is no this noise I hear. Upcoming, growing. There is no time to grow. If you want to grow, go find Bloomfield and Celtic, Baroka, and grow from there.
No.
When you come to
He didn't go as a head coach.
We need results.
He didn't go as a head coach. He was assistant coach.
Okay.
He was assistant coach.
Let's
He was a head coach.
Let's wrap it up.
Elasto.
Yes.
How many times has Dr. Kumalo and Ace Kosek been caretakers at Chiefs?
So many times. On so many occasions.
Did they ever take over?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I've moved.
You rest your case.
Yes, I've moved. What I want to say is that he's just mentioned something.
Yes.
He says he's a very good analyst.
Yes.
You know, and it's very interesting that Tim is saying that, because I've heard some people who are also saying that Roland is a very good analyst.
What does that mean?
And he says he's not a
What?
coach.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to think now.
I was coming to
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
but not only that, he's an upcoming coach.
Yes.
Coach, give me a
But
chance.
it's Pirates,
Yes.
but also Pirates. And I remember someone mentioned Papic.
Yes.
That,
Yeah, maybe
someone,
Papic.
Yes.
Papic. But that time of Papic, we have to know what was the cream of the generation or the crop of players that Pirates had.
Coming from the development.
Coming from the development, but now we don't have players that can play like
Have you seen
that.
a player on the Pirates?
We don't have.
Let me tell you, Tiaf,
We don't
you have
have
not
players.
One person,
You
guys.
have not
One
retired.
person.
You have not retired.
No.
But in your career of football,
leave
football
out.
All right, now
we have
guys,
seen
let's focus
players
now.
of our caliber when things are tough, like it's
Alright.
at Pirates.
Yeah.
You get the players getting together and getting this ship to start and sail to safety. Are you seeing that with Pirates?
Yeah, I saw that
Nothing.
Pirates. Against Polokwane City.
I want to move on
Yeah,
to the new men.
but I think before we finish discussing Rulani, I was just disappointed to learn that he left the
camp.
The camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you remember, the club statement was that he's going back to his original position.
Yes,
As an assistant.
Correct.
You know, and I was just disappointed to learn that he's left the camp. Even if you do look at the team's pictures, because his team is still in Mpumalanga. He's not there. I saw a picture on social media of him possibly flying out of the country.
Okay.
So, because it's important that we have a Rulani who's going to continue.
Thank you.
You understand?
It's not important.
Yeah.
Why is that important?
No.
This when you get coaches,
young man
it's
has to be
important.
told the truth.
But everyone says
I know.
So you want to kill his career?
Because I know that he's been talking about the sacrifices that he's gone through.
Yes.
To remain and help Orlando Pirates.
Yeah.
At some stage, Rulani was even offered the under 23 job.
Yes.
To coach the under 23.
This is can I say something?
At some stage, Rulani could have been coaching
No.
at the biggest rivals.
No.
For being part of the team.
Elasto, let me correct
You know what I mean?
Let me correct this.
You know what I mean?
Elasto, let me correct this.
I'll give you a chance.
Wait for a chance. So, I was hoping, that he would continue at Paris in his current position.
Yes.
And by not doing that now, he is giving credence to some of the claims that have been there about him.
Especially during the time of Micho.
Yes. Even though, for me, if I'm an incoming coach and I read about the assistants who are here and what these assistants are doing, because the head coach has got also the right to say, I want to work with this one, not this one.
Yeah.
Because, you understand? Because coaches, before I think even before they apply,
Yeah.
you know, they do a lot of research
No, they would have done
about
research.
where they are going.
They would have done research.
And maybe because I had one of the coaches who was possibly going to come already wanted to work with somebody else. You understand? So I'm not sure if maybe to Rulani, this was the thinking already to say whoever is coming will have this kind of an idea about me.
Yeah.
So hence he's taking this decision. But I just hope that because you know in the PSL there's always a vacancy.
You see, for me,
Okay,
let me
Tim,
first.
please quickly.
This is what
we
is
want
happening.
to move away
And,
from
you know,
Rulani.
when I was speaking, I spoke about the power of the microphone.
Yeah.
As a coach, you're more like the player. If you don't keep your feet on the ground,
Yeah.
you'll get banned. Now, people who are speaking to Rani as an upcoming coach, they are not telling him the truth.
What would be that
So
truth?
is acting beyond what he has become. If he can learn from Coach Pitso, when he was at Supersport, he did build his name. What Pitso is
And they
speaking
gave him
today,
a chance. He was upcoming
What?
coach that time.
No.
Pitso was an
You
upcoming
see-
coach
you
that
see, this is
time.
the problem.
So
Yes,
they gave him a
yes,
chance.
there's an
Supersport,
absolute-
Supersport stand with him.
Okay,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
They were not
Okay.
doing well. They didn't win
Okay,
anything.
Timothy,
We should not
Let me
confuse.
say-
I hear-
Can you give
we
me
hear
2
point.
minutes?
No, I
Listen,
hear.
let me-
2 minutes, 2 minutes.
No, no,
I'll
Elaston,
give you, I'll
let's
give you
go.
10 seconds.
Let me-
Okay,
okay,
10
let-
seconds.
let me
10
first
seconds.
to me too.
10 seconds, I'll give you.
Let me
10
first.
seconds, Tim.
I rebuke
Yes.
in the strongest term this thing of giving a chance.
Okay,
Pitso,
so there's no
Pitso
chance.
was winning
Okay.
trophies.
No problem.
No.
Okay.
He was winning cups.
Okay.
Now
And he
before
was
you
Give me a
start
chance.
winning,
He was finishing.
Give me a
He
chance.
was finishing.
Is that
Supersport.
Pitso took
Was
that team
finishing
from
the
relegation
second.
zone?
Yeah.
Yes. All right,
Yes,
yes.
student
I'll
this
give you,
week.
I'll give you 10 seconds.
You could
Okay,
see what he's
Jeff.
building.
Okay,
For
Tim.
what I want to
Yes,
say,
quickly.
for Rolani, Coach Rolani,
Yes.
he's a good coach.
Okay.
You know, he needs to
No,
be
I
given a
don't say
chance.
that.
He needs to be given a
He needs
chance.
to give a chance.
What's
What's the
Fine.
definition
Can
of a
be-
good coach?
Wait,
No,
no,
Tim,
wait.
Tim, let him-
He was not a head coach there. You know, there was someone that was head coach.
Yeah.
They said, no, come, help us.
All
And he
right.
did that well, you understand. In terms of where Vele said, there's other things he sacrificed. He could have gone
No.
other places. No, wait.
No, I
Pirates is a
disagree.
brand. No,
No,
Pirates is a
Tim,
brand.
it's fine.
Pirates is a brand that
I'm
is
done.
big. You understand. But give me the chance in that Pirate team, the one I was watching.
So you just feel that if he had got more chance, he could have.
And
given
now
it.
we don't want to lose somebody like
Yes.
Rolani
All
because
right.
you know we need him in this industry.
All right, Jeff.
Yeah, but with them,
Lastly, close it down.
even if he leaves Pirates, he will have another
Yeah, that's
chance.
yeah.
Yes,
Of
yes,
coming
yes.
as a
Yeah,
team.
we just pray.
But
We know-
I'm totally
You will reappear
against
somewhere.
you when you say that he was not given a chance. Remember Di Matteo, he was not even an assistant coach.
Yeah.
He was given just a little space of time.
Yeah.
He won a Champions League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had no certificate whatsoever. So you have to prove when you're given a chance at that level.
Yeah.
Just says it.
All right, no.
Sacrifices are made by
I
everyone.
want now
We
all
don't
of
need
you
to know. We don't
Timothy-
need to know your
Timothy-
sacrifices.
Yeah.
Your sacrifices are reflected on the field of
Thank
play
you, thank
by
you,
getting
Tim.
results. We
Thank
shall
you.
know that you're working hard.
All right.
Yeah,
The
true.
guys are very hard on Rulani. Some on my side here, Greg Itavia, saying that he needed more opportunities. He's a future upcoming coach. He needs to be taken care of. Maybe he was not in this instance just being thrown in the deep end, but it's something that he also wanted himself. Quickly, Verile, looking at the new men in charge, there is concern for the Germany that he is not somebody that has been known to have won things. He comes in at Orlando Pirates, where if you look at the league, that has eluded them for quite some time. They want to catch up with the likes of Sundowns. Look at what Chiefs what is doing right now. And again, it's difficult to judge, but the big question would be, is Joseph Zimbabwe the right man for this job?
I think it's going to be very difficult to tell at this stage. I think let's first see him,
Okay.
and then we'll see what he's going
So
to offer. But from
his track record, can we read a lot into that?
The track record is not really promising. I have to say, and I think he's been out of a job for 2 years now. According to what we've seen, the last time he was
2017.
coaching a
Yes.
team was St. Gallen in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And yes, he's also coaching the Bundesliga, but not that much. He spent more time coaching teams in the
MDC of
The
Bundesliga.
reserve.
He was coaching MDC of Bundesliga.
let's say maybe
No,
the-
he did coach Hamburg for a couple of months.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
Oh, couple of months.
Yeah.
Golani.
yeah. But he was coaching maybe in the Glad Africa
So then,
Glad
same
Africa
page.
Championship,
Yeah.
or
What
even,
I'm just-
but maybe right even with the MDC as well. But look, he's a German coach. Let's see what he can offer.
All right.
I think what is disappointing with Pirates for me, I thought they were going to go for at least a big name coach on the continent. You know, not
Give us a
necessarily,
name.
not
One or two
necessarily,
names.
not necessarily an African coach, or at least someone who's coached on the continent. Remember, this is a team that finished second for the past 2 editions. This is a team that is coming from the group stages of the African Champions League. So now we expected someone who's got African experience.
No, I hear you.
You know what I mean.
Yes.
I'm looking at Norman Mapeza.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in here just yesterday. He takes a team that has not won a single game. You know, and that team is number 11 today. The last 4 games, 3 wins, 1 draw, 4 clean sheets.
The first time.
Yes, he's not bought a single player. You understand? But this is a Champions League coach. You know, now we've got coaches that we trust here, but we need them to be challenged by some of the coaches that we also see and trust on the continent. And the PSL is a very strong league.
Yeah.
You know, but now the PSL will also going to be stronger when we have these top African coaches coming to coach here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I see this as a missed opportunity for Pirates. But look, people
But
do business.
Elasto,
Yes,
I don't have a problem because we don't see so many African footballers or coaches going to coach in Europe or Asia or Latin
tell us
America.
about that.
Why we accept those guys to come to Africa? And sometimes they come with a CV which is very below par.
Yeah.
And then they come to gain experience in Africa.
Jobless for the past 2
go
years.
back there. And I was not shy to tell Hervé Renard to say that you came to Africa, you won the African Cup of Nations with Zambia, and you left them. You went to Angola, you didn't work out, and you went to France to coach social.
How long was he there?
He was there, but the team was relegated.
Yes.
And then he came back to Africa. He took up Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
He won the 2015 African Cup of Nations. He left them. He went back to France. He was coaching Lille, and he was sacked. And he came back to Africa. He took Morocco. He failed this time around.
It says much about our African football.
Yes, and he left. He couldn't do that in Cairo this year around, and he left them. He went to
Saudi Arabia.
To Saudi Arabia. But there are a couple of international coaches that I would like to be foreign coaches that I like to be in Africa, like your Claude Leroy, probably a very but a certain degree, because those are the guys who want to live in Africa and they want to work for Africa and they want to help Africa. And Claude Leroy has just proved that, even though he's not winning too many games with Togo. But we do have now a crop of African coaches coming up. We just had Amunike coaching the Taifa Stars at the African Cup of Nations. But why not look at them?
All right, why not look at them?
Yeah.
That's what Jeff is saying.
And going with Joseph Zimbabwe, I heard him saying that he would like to play possession game style. Since when a German played that kind of game?
For me, when it comes to the playing personnel in Pirates, it's not lacking. Believe me, no.
Yeah.
Now, if we can come up with a structure of the structure of the team, if you know, we talk about they're playing well, the flair is there. For me, as Timothy, a former retired player, if you are not winning, you're not playing well. Simple.
True.
You can't play well when you are losing.
So how can you judge this coach now? If you start with,
for me, I want to hear your thoughts on
the coach. I just think we just need to judge him by results. As James said,
the issue of
he's together with
the issue of foreign coaches versus. Don't we have coaches that could coach the likes of Pirates?
No, we have.
Not necessarily Africans.
Not necessarily Africa, but I just think Pirates have big
like your countrymen, Amunike.
Sunday only say.
Can they coach?
Look, they can.
Nigerians.
Let's
leave. We don't know. However much we love them to coach, we don't know whether they applied. So For me,
No.
no.
Look, Timothy, it's not about applying.
I don't think it's about applying for the job.
Why not?
Yeah, no, the job for Orlando Pirates, you know what? I think a team like Orlando Pirates should know the coach that they want. Because you and I can even apply for Pirates job.
Yes.
But I don't think it is how it should go. Pirates know the coaches that can coach that team.
Yes.
I think there's an array of talented coaches.
Another issue that
on
I've
the
picked up
continent,
was that maybe some of the candidates that they wanted were not available.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or if they are available, it's difficult to price them away from where they want them.
Yes.
But you see the reservations that people have about Joseph Zimbabwe. Maybe it's got nothing to do with him per se.
Okay.
It's got with how Pirates in the past have made some of these appointments.
Yes.
Shell Shonefre, the coach they brought in February, before August he was gone. And remember how they brought him in? They lost 6-0.
Yes.
And then there were issues at the stadium. You know, the violence broke out at the stadium. And a week or 2 weeks after, they were forced to bring in, you know. And the guy proved to be a disappointment. You know. So maybe this has got nothing to do with this appointment they've made now. But people look back to say, in the past, you made this kind of an appointment to a coach who's not really known that much.
And it is because of that.
Yes. So now, how they react now is stemming from that.
All right. Closing remarks from you. I've
And
come to the end of our show.
because of what is his statement, I've always say that they can't relax South Africa with the financial means, the financial muscle that they do have. They have to set up an academy for coach nurturing, and then we've seen Esperance winning Champions League back to back with a national coach, with someone who was the captain of the very same team. We've seen with Alali, the one who's now the actual the national coach. He was there, he played there, and he won trophies with them as a coach too.
There you go.
You know, Jeff.
I want to end it. Very nice. Finish it off.
I have this belief that not all the coaches who was coaching the PSL were coming from South Africa are the best coaches we've got in the country.
Right.
And the fact that
he should be given a chance.
But it's just that
he must be given
for
a
one
chance.
to be employed, it is the prerogative of the chairman of that club to make that appointment.
All right,
because some of the
gentlemen,
best coaches
I want to close it off
but
now.
They've been given a chance.
All right,
and
gentlemen.
one now has
He should be given a
gone
chance.
as far as he took a team to the World Cup. Back-to-back World Cups.
Yeah.
But now he skipped the border. He's coaching Lesotho.
All right, there you are. There you go. I
Which
think
is very
our
nice.
producer, we need to tell our producer that they need to give us another show only for coaches. Gentlemen, we've come to the end of our show. Thank you very much. I hope you at home, you enjoyed every bit of it. There were so many topics that we just couldn't go to. Super Eagles was there. Micho, Zimbabwe.
Skip the Super
I think that is
Eagles,
for next time. But let me thank you, Greg Tiaf. Jeff Katala, thank you very much. Timothy Batabaire, as usual, very Myandu, thank you. And for you at home, thank you for tuning in. Let's meet again next time.
Super Eagles.
Same place, same time.
Best team
Good night.
in the African continent.
It was that